In this experiment, what we'll be doing is we will be looking at the measurement of thermal conductivity of a 1-inch thick piece of insulation. And the insulation is pink insulation by Owens Corning Corporation, and it goes under the trade name of Fourier. But let me get the components that we will need for the experiment out. So this is the insulation, and what we're going to be doing is conducting an experiment whereby we measure the thermal conductivity of this. Thermal conductivity, remember, is one of the most important physical parameters that we have in heat transfer, and so what we'll be doing is setting up an apparatus that enables us to measure thermal conductivity. And essentially what we'll be doing is we'll be passing heat through the insulation and measuring the temperature change on either side, and through that process, that is how we will then be able to compute thermal conductivity within the Fourier insulation. Okay, so what we're going to need, we need our sheet of insulation. We will need our 4 DS1 temperature sensors, and what I did, I was kind of getting tired of these long spaghetti-like lines that were with this, so I put little rubber bands around these to make it a little bit shorter. They're easier to handle that way, and they don't get tangled up with one another and leading to confusion. The other thing that we'll need the HTC2. Now, we're not going to be measuring temperature. Well, I guess what we could do, we could put this into the water if we wanted to. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll measure or we could even measure the cold water temperature, one of the two waters. I'll show you as we go through the experiment. But the main thing that we're going to get out of this is going to be the time. So the elapsed time of the experiment, and we use that when we're doing the data entry. The other thing that we'll need our 2 pieces of 6x6 inch cork, and these are 1/2 inch sheets, so the thickness is each 1/2 inch, and these are the ones without notches, so we'll need those 2. So I'll set them off on the side. And then we will need the 4 pieces of cork that have the notches in them. And remember, these notches are placed there so that we can put the sensors in the middle of the cork sheet, which I'll show you in a moment. And then the notches are there to enable the wires to come out of the cork sheets. So, other things that we will need for this experiment, let me just move some of that out of the way. The other things that we're going to need a coffee cup. And so here I have a Starbucks coffee cup. It doesn't have to be Starbucks, it can be whatever you want. But what I do like about this is that it has a fairly wide opening at the top. And so if I measure that, this coffee cup is pretty close to being 3 3/4 inches in diameter at the top. And consequently, that will be useful because what we'll be doing is we'll be putting very, very hot water into the coffee cup, and we'll be putting the cork pad on top of that, and then building up our system that we'll be doing the experiment on. So the fact that this is close to 4 inches, this is 6 inches, they fit quite well next to each other. So it's kind of like that type of a view. If you even have a bigger, like a 5-inch coffee cup, that'd be great. If you go down to 3 inches, you don't have as much surface area where the heat will then be transmitting up through the cork and through the insulation. So in terms of building the experimental apparatus, and the other thing that we'll need at the top of the apparatus that we're going to be building are yogurt containers. And so I have a variety of different yogurt containers. You will also be using these in experiment number 3 to measure the volumetric flow rate. So this one is a 750 gram oikos. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but it's a Greek yogurt, and it is made by Danone, and so that is 750 gram. That would work. Our complements cottage cheese. This is available at Safeway, 750 grams. And then there are also the Activia yogurt containers. These are 650 grams, so there's an example of one there. Another one is Olympic. These are, let's see, are they all Greek? No, this one's organic. And these containers are 650 grams, so you could get one of those. And finally, Liberté Greek yogurt as well, and these are 750 grams. And it doesn't really matter what flavor you have, just as long as the mass isn't important for this experiment, but it will be important for experiment number 3, because we'll use these to measure volumetric flow rate. In this experiment, what we're going to do, we're just going to fill this with ice, and then a little bit of water, and that's going to be the cold surface, or the heat sink, I guess you could say, and then the heat itself will be coming from the coffee cup. Okay, so let's begin the build for experiment number 2. And what I'm going to begin doing, I'm going to take a piece of the cork with the notch in it, and I'm going to take the DS1 labeled T1. And what I want you to do is to embed the temperature sensor into the cork sheet like that, and then the wires can come out. And so that will be, that's temperature 1. And then we'll do the same thing for T2, T3, and T4. Okay. So now what we've done, we've put all of the temperature sensors into the cork pads, and the 4 cork pads. So we have one for T4, one for T3, one for T2, and one for T1. I'm going to set those off to the side. And in terms of building the apparatus, what we'll do, we'll start with your coffee cup. Remember, one that is approximately 4 inches or so for the opening. And we'll put the coffee cup down first. We'll then take one of our cork pads without a notch on it. And when we do the experiment, we'll see when we get to the kitchen, we're going to fill this with very, very hot water, essentially boiling water. I might cool it a little bit so that it's around 90 degrees C, but I want it very, very hot. And so we'll then put the cork pad without any notches on it on top of the coffee cup. So imagine now what we have is we have our coffee cup with very, very hot water. We have the cork pad that rests on top of that. Then what we'll do is we will take the T1 sensor and the cork pad with the T1 sensor installed on it, and that will be the next piece of cork that goes on. We're basically making a sandwich. And then the next thing we do, we take the T2 sensor, which is right here. And when I place this on for the 3rd layer, what I want is I want the sensor to be on the top. And so on the top of the cork sheet, so it goes on like so. And it's at this point that we then place the thermal conductivity. So what you'll notice, we have 2 temperature measurements in cork, and if we know the spacing between those 2 temperature measurements, which we do, because this is a 1/2-inch cork sheet, we can then calculate the heat flux, assuming we know thermal conductivity of cork, which you can obtain from the back of your textbook. So the next thing we do, and this is our unknown, we don't know what the thermal conductivity of this foam is, we put that sheet on top. The next sheet that I want you to place on, so this will be, let's see, we have layer 1 was the cork without notch, layer 2 was the temperature 1 sensor sheet, layer 3 was the temperature 2 sensor sheet, then we have the insulation, which is 1 inch thick. Now we go to temperature sensor 3. So grab your cork sheet that has temperature sensor 3 in it, and I have it right here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it around now. So instead of putting it down where the sensor is on the top, what I want to be able to do is measure the temperature on the lower surface of the pink insulation and on the upper surface, immediately adjacent to the surface. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate and place my cork sheet with the sensor side down. And so that is now 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th layer. And then finally, for the 6th layer, we go to the temperature sensor T4, and again we follow the same process where we align it with the sensor surface facing down. And so there we go, and just make sure your wires are nice and neat coming out of this apparatus. The final thing we do, we put another layer of cork without temperature sensors on it. And so that is now layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is the 7th and final layer that we have for this experiment. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take one of the yogurt containers. Which one should I use? I'll take one that is 750 grams because that's a little bit bigger. We'll try the one by Danone. It doesn't really matter. But what I'll be doing is filling this with ice to the top. And then I will pour cold water into that. And by doing that, we then have ice water. So this container will be close to 0 degrees C. And we'll then put it on top like so. And then what we do is we let nature do its thing. And with time evolution, what will happen is the heat will flow from the lower container up to the upper container where we have the ice, and we'll assume it to be one-dimensional conduction, and we use Fourier's law, and with that we will then be able to determine the thermal conductivity of the 1-inch thick piece of foam. But there's a little bit of trickery that we need to do here because this is a transient heat transfer problem. It's not going to get to steady state right away. Actually, it never gets to steady state. And what we need to do through analysis, we will look at when the heat flux through the bottom, so the bottom two cork pads with T1 and T2, when the heat flux through there is equal to the heat flux through T3 and T4, then that is the point where we will then measure the thermal conductivity of our foam insulation. Because if the heat flux on the bottom is equal to the heat flux on the top, for that moment in time, we can assume that this is operating in almost like a steady state environment or a steady state condition. Now, I do know that there is a little bit of thermal mass and specific heat associated with the insulation, and so it is also going through a change in temperature with time. But we'll basically take a snapshot at that point, and that's the point that we'll use for assessing the thermal conductivity. And what you'll find, it actually is quite accurate. It does work quite well as being a technique. It's basically almost like a transient thermal conductivity measurement. So when we get up to the kitchen, what we are going to do, we need to again place our sensors in a manner that enables it, it facilitates the use of time-lapse photography so that we can see all the sensors clearly, and we'll also want the clock from the HTC2, and so we can see that. Now I did mention that you can measure temperature. If you want, you can throw the sensor from the HTC2 perhaps into the ice water and you can monitor that, or if you want, you can put it in your coffee cup. Putting it in the coffee cup, the only problem is it will create a little bit of an opening and we'll lose some of the heat that way. So maybe the better thing to do is just monitor the ice water temperature and ensure that it's close to 0 degrees C. So anyways, that is the build for the second experiment, experiment number 2, where we will be measuring the thermal conductivity of the Owens Corning product called Foamular. Thank you.